that stretch around along 3 or 4 countries. I mean, Lake Victoria, there's a big section of it in Uganda, a big section in Kenya, and a big section in Tanzania.
The other universe that I can think of where that's kind of the inverse, where it's uncommon but still around, and we do not stand the author, but we do. At least I stand the hell out of the books.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Northern Lion.
What is Spelunky 2?
Whoa, this guy doesn't know?
Okay, so Jackson has brought up the very serious and very real possibility of us having an ad break in the middle of an episode for erectile dysfunction medication.
I think I brought it up.
Noah brought it all up. I just kind of was like, Noah was like, and then like indie soft rock plays and we do an ad for erectile dysfunction. I was like, oh, can we do ads in like the middle of the episode? And then Noah was like, yeah, we can do ads in like the middle of the episode. And I was like, but why would it be for, that kind of medication? And then, then the spiral.
Then the spiral
began.
was Jackson asked, "Would you use it, or would you do that ad if you had to say you used it?" And to which my response was quite simply, "I have no problem using it. Are they going to send me free shit? Because I'm not going to pay for it and then do their ad." Now we can continue where now the audience is caught up to where we left off.
Yeah, I just think that first of all, I would never do an ad for anyone. But it's kind of like it's like the Raycon ads where they make people be like, "Hey, I wear these headphones every day," even though you're like, I know you don't wear those headphones every day, random YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows you don't wear those headphones every day. No one wears those headphones every day.
I mean, one of my personal favorite things I saw is, Eddie Burback is out here plugging Raycon, talking about how they stay in his ear while he goes out jogging. And then he appeared in the background of a Gus Johnson episode with some wired headphones after that ad read, saying, well, I was about to go out jogging. But it was clear that he was not like a scheduled appearance in that video. It's clear that he was like dragged in by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that. I'm like, wires.
One thing I gotta say, I'm out of the youth culture. I'm out of the hipness with is those they're like just like your generic white boy 8 YouTubers. Like if you were to be like, this is Eddie Burback and the other one you said and Daniel Dobrik and
I don't think
wait, there's more. There's like 500 of them. But if you were to name any of them and send me, just put a picture of a guy you found and like hanging out buying like a 6-pack at 7-Eleven, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably him.
I won't lie to you. Gus Johnson looks like the man that you're catching buying a 6-pack at 7-Eleven.
There is that. I was gonna say. I feel the same way about like all anime. So like I feel like it's less a youth culture and more a you have no interest in YouTuber culture.
I have very much interest in YouTuber culture. Just not that YouTuber culture.
We are YouTubers after all.
Yeah, Northern Lion's having a kid in a couple of days. That's the biggest happening in my world.
So
that's pretty cool. Good for him.
That's pretty cool.
I'm
very good. Yeah.
I'm trying to focus this down because I also don't watch a ton of YouTube, but I also 100% could pick David Dobrik out of the lineup because I genuinely
do not know what he looks like.
I am looking him up because I have no idea who he is.
He's a guy.
Oh, he looks a lot like Curtis Connor.
Who?
The only one I know is Danny Gonzalez, and that's not because I know anything about him, but that's because I'm good friends with his brother.
Really?
Haven't I ever talked about him on the podcast before?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe
so
you did in passing before I knew who he was, but
man. So when I used to work in Austin, I worked at the place called the Oasis, and one of my coworkers there was Matt, and Matt and I were homies because he was just really cool, and we play League together all the time still. And yeah, I helped him move, and I got lost. And he is his name is Matt Gonzalez, and he is Danny's brother.
Huh. Okay, that's neat.
And that's the only thing I knew. I didn't even know who Danny Gonzalez was. He was like, my brother's a YouTuber. I was like, all right, cool. Like, isn't everybody a YouTuber these days? And then he was like, no, like an actually famous one. I was like, oh, word.
I like that. I like that a lot. Huh. So you think you could get Danny Gonzalez on the podcast?
I could get his brother on the podcast.
Nice. Good
Maybe. I don't know if Matt actually would. Matt's a very busy guy.
Also fair.
Nice lad. Good guy.
I don't know. I feel like I just don't love the. I've grown to not love the basic white guy like YouTube ad. Like that's not. I feel like that's not a thing that you can just ascribe to any white YouTuber because like there are so many who are like Gus Johnson is a distinct voice on the platform. Like there isn't anyone doing the same thing he's doing right now.
I mean, that's because what he does is really focused Midwestern humor.
But that's my point, though. Like, yes, and don't get me wrong, there are like plenty of like fuckboy YouTubers. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like.
Well, aren't they all lumped together because
Gus
they all
Johnson
came from
a fuckboy YouTuber?
I said he's not. That's what my point is, though.
Oh, okay.
Aren't they all just like the ex-Vine YouTubers, though?
No.
A lot
don't
of
know.
honestly, a lot
Actually-
of YouTubers are ex-Vine. A lot of the ones who are bigger
that's
right now.
those are the what. That's why I lumped them all together.
Mhm.
I don't
they
know.
all-
I don't know that I can back that because I feel like that's
Well, no, because it's just like a fact kind of thing. Like they're in a lot of various genres, but like look at the Paul brothers, they're ex-Vine. Drew Gooden, Danny Gonzalez, they're ex-Vine. I'm pretty sure I know of others that I just can't think of off the top of my head because I'm just not thinking of them. But like it's not an uncommon thing.
that.
They
I'll
just
give you
happen to
that,
be
you
the
know.
current wave.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll give you that. Okay. I feel as though trying to lump them all together again in the same way that I continue my everything all anime is the same. Like it's very dismissive of the entire genre of people.
Yeah, I'm saying like 10 YouTubers are the same.
Oh, okay, because it sounded like you meant like a much broader. Like there are 500 of these kids and they're all exactly the
I mean,
same.
There's like the ones who all like do videos together and have like just like it's just their name is their channel name, and they all do like the same kind of like a lot of commentary type of stuff. Commentary, sketch comedy, you know.
Well,
Sometimes music maybe.
Yeah, that pretty much does sum up
10
pretty
whole
much
YouTubers.
does sum up who I'm thinking of at least. So like it makes sense to me. I don't
All
know.
right.
Well, that's why when you said that you're not into YouTube, I was like, well, no, I care, but just not about those 10.
That's fair.
But
So you're
I
gonna say you're probably just not a fan of commentary channels and stuff like that, right?
yeah, pretty much.
I can
yeah.
back that. That's totally fine. That's. I'm also not a huge fan of most commentary channels. I find them exhausting.
I
And a
just
little-
don't know what to get from the.
and not
from
all,
them, you know?
but I find it a lot of them to be a little on the lazy side as far as their content. For commentary,
I just don't
specifically.
need someone to tell me that Onision's bad. I've been known that for 12 years.
Exactly right.
I remember one of the brothers really used to like Onision. You remember him?
I don't actually remember.
Oh yeah,
that.
Basement loved Onision a whole lot.
Really?
Yeah, he tried to sell me on him at one point, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'll check him out. I subbed to him. I watched him for like a month off and on, and I'm just like, this just isn't good.
I do remember Basement also really liked H3H3 way before that was like there was
thing.
any traction on that channel.
That's true.
Like I'm talking like early like ye olden days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not needless to say he didn't always have the best taste, but we were young. I like to think he has better taste now.
He probably
no
doesn't,
accounting
but I
for
would like to
taste.
think that.
I know, but I would like to think. I'm not going to do any research to find out whether or not he has better taste because that would involve getting in contact with him.
Yeah, no, that's a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, I'm all right where I am.
Mm.
Some things are best left where they in the past.
Personally, I'm becoming a bigger fan of commentary YouTubers just because I enjoy having just something on in the background while I play games, and it's very like unoffensive, nice to have on in the background content. So
I think it depends on what kind of commentary we're talking about. Are we talking about people who are just like 'cause when I'm thinking commentary channels, I'm thinking almost like either almost like reaction, but not quite. It's more like talking about like what is going on in this specific piece of YouTube space or internet culture space, or reacting to or talking about like a specific video or something that came out, kind of thing, is what I'm thinking of. If you're
That
talking more
is-
like just go ahead, sorry.
no, what do you think could be the option? Because that is
Yeah,
the only kind of commentary YouTuber I'm aware of.
Well, I mean, some gaming YouTubers I would call commentary YouTubers, like just gaming commentary rather than like.
No, that is not a commentary YouTuber.
Okay, that's
They may
I wanna
commentate
make-
while they play, but they're not
was-
commentary YouTubers.
I was verifying the term.
I agree with Noah completely here.
That's totally fine. I just was verifying the term.
Okay.
I don't know.
I like every once in a while I'll watch like not like true crime, but just like, hey, isn't this like a weird, really messed up unsolved case? And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy.
Mhm.
And then I just kind of like I just leave it at that. And it's like it's not like daily. It's literally like once every like 6 months. For some reason, my brain's like, you know what time it is? Let's find out what happened to those 18 like teenagers. No, we're not actually gonna find out. Oh, no one ever found out. Oh, word. Well,
Oh, cool. That's what I wanted to hear.
now I'm just kind of sad.
Right.
Sometimes I'll watch like people who are like, hey, look at this new multi-level marketing scheme, and I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm just like, hey guys, Spelunky 2 is coming out. I'm like, wow,
I'm sorry.
thanks, Northern Lion.
What is Spelunky 2?
Whoa, this guy doesn't know.
I don't.
Wait, Dan, can you back me up on this? You know about Spelunky?
Spelunky 2 looks amazing.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's Spelunky was like a really big roguelike back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, being like
less
less than 5 years ago, I feel like, and there's no way it was that old.
No, it was like 20. I would say 2014, 2015.
Okay, yeah,
But
no,
back in the day when
way
roguelikes were
early-
like popping.
I'm an idiot. No, it was originally in 2008. I apologize.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so back in the day, yeah, 100%. It got re-released in
Yeah, but
2012 and
it was
2013 to the Xbox and PlayStation, which is why that like it got resurgence around then. Sorry,
okay.
go on.
But yeah, it's a roguelike. It's back in the day when like Isaac was really big too.
Yeah.
It was one of like the founding fathers of like those 5 years where every 2 days there'd be 5 new games on Steam that were almost identical to The Binding of Isaac, but with just like a really dumb spin on them. It was one of the founding fathers of that. Like Spelunky was up there, and after years and years, they've made a sequel. And it seems pretty cute.
Nice.
A lot of fun. Very simple. Very with what the previous one was about. It doesn't like try and do something crazy different, which is fine. But there's like a lot of nice like updates, and it looks pretty solid overall. I think it might be out by the time this episode comes up. I can't remember the release date, but it's like any day now.
Yeah, it should be very, very soon.
Spelunky 2's release date?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is out. It is definitely out. Released 5 days ago.
Oh, it's already out.
I think it is out.
Nice.
Because it just says
Eventually.
2020. It doesn't actually have any more details than that.
I just couldn't buy it on Steam last time I checked, so that's what I'm going off
That's
of here.
super valid. Yeah. No, I eventually am probably gonna pick it up, but also I am so far behind in my gaming backlog at this point that
it's coming out on the 29th. So 2 days after, not 2 days after the episode drops, a couple days after the episode drops.
Why did I just see it came out on the 20? Whatever. It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, 8 days from now. Next Monday. There we go. Is that next Monday?
Okay.
Oh, it launched
I
on the
don't know.
PS4 early. That's why it looks different.
Next
PC
Tuesday.
it comes out on a couple of days. It looks like it came out early on the PS4.
That makes
Nice.
sense.
You guys getting a PS5?
Absolutely not. Not in the only
How
game I would get a
expensive?
PS5 for is for Spider-Man, and that's coming to PS4 anyway. So
What does
Don't
the
care.
PS5 look like? Hot damn, that's a lot of memory and a lot of storage. Let's see. PS5 cost. That's what I want to know. Let's see.
$600,
Let's
I
get-
think.
That's it?
I think
I've been seeing
$500.
people meme on how expensive this is, and that's it?
Yeah, I think it's.
You kidding me?
Well, the reason people are memeing on it right now is because the pre-order went up, and everyone and scalpers. Oh, $400 or $500. The digital edition is $400. The one with the card slot is $500, or the CD slot is $500.
It's $100 less with the same exact like technology if you just don't want a disk drive.
Yeah.
Done deal, firstly.
I mean, I hate with every fiber of my being the lean of all industries towards digital only content.
I agree.
No, yeah,
I-
that's very fair. However, I have to
I-
install the game anyway on a console, and if I have to install the game, then I may as well be able to play it without a disc.
I hate it.
That's fine, but
Well,
I'm
that
not
is true. You have
getting
to install
anything
games
out
on
of the disc.
consoles.
I get a nice
That
thing
is
to
true,
put on
isn't
my
it?
shelf.
I forgot about that.
Not all games. A lot of games, but not all games. Some games that I've found either A, don't require much of an installation, if any, and or B, don't require the disc once you install them, depending on the console.
I've never found a game that didn't require the disc once you install it.
So we'll see.
That would be cool, but I've never found a game that did that.
I mean, the reason is just so that people don't have more than one copy of it. Is you don't hand your disc over to your PlayStation friend and be like, "Here, have this, have another game."
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I don't-
I get it, but
I don't like digital only content for the same reason that I don't like digital only content on any platform, despite the fact that my Steam library is massive, because then it is almost in every single situation, there is a clause in the terms of service that says you do not own the game. It says essentially you are renting the game and that at any time they can terminate your account and all your games will be gone. Whereas if you have a physical copy of
That's
it,
kind of how the
you cannot do that.
Not gonna say it. But that's kind of what the country does.
I mean, it
With
is.
everything
It
you
distinctly
buy.
is. But I don't have
But
to love
I don't
it.
know. Me just like boxes, so me
I
want
also
more
like
boxes. So
boxes.
me have card slot in box, put game in.
I only have about 5 or 6 games that I've bought digital or physical copies of because for the very longest time I physically could not afford them, and would only ever buy games like on ridiculous sales. But now that I finally have like some storage spaces and some display spaces to put stuff in, I really want to get more physical copies of stuff.
I just like that's why I play stuff on the Switch. I mean, that's like the only console I use,
Mhm.
and then you get the little cards,
cards.
and you just
Mhm.
yeah,
And they look
And
nice.
it's
The
fun.
Switch boxes all look nice.
they're cute. Yeah,
I actually a lot of people gave the PS5 a lot of shit. I actually really like the PS5's design, like visually.
I will
I just
say.
know that I like the
Oh, sorry.
PlayStation more than Xbox almost always
Mhm.
because PlayStation just has so many like weeb games, you know.
It does. That is very
And
accurate.
Xbox is just like games for war criminals.
Uh-huh.
That's-
Yes, the two genders.
Weebs and war criminals.
Weebs and war criminals.
We've some war criminals, yeah.
See,
Signed war
I kept
criminal
seeing
at birth.
people complain about the PS5 primarily because it's big, but like,
it's not really
firstly,
that big. I mean, compared
in
to the PlayStation 4, sure, but not compared to like the Xbox.
exactly. The way I see it is in like 2 months after release, they're going to release the PS5 Slim and the PS5 Plus, which is the same. The one is small, and the other one is the same size but
Beefier.
more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just going to be how it is. And I don't know. I mean, look at the Xbox. It's just a fridge. It's just a little mini fridge.
Have you seen the PS5 dev kits?
Nah.
Okay, so you're looking at the version that we got, right?
Yeah.
This is what the dev kit could have looked like, and this is to me so much cooler.
That's
such a
hideous. Oh my gosh.
I love it so much. I love this design so much
It
more.
looks like a radio.
It looks like a spaceship.
Yes.
No, it just looks like my dad's like radio alarm clock.
I love it.
I'm glad you love it. I would have felt very weird about this being anything close to the final design.
I mean, that's valid.
Coward.
It doesn't look PlayStation. It looks like a step backward in console design, like visually.
That's
Not
fair.
necessarily a bad thing, but
it's a different direction in console design, distinctly. I wish we got a neater Xbox design, because you've seen the Xbox design, right?
yeah, it's just a mini fridge.
It's just a brick,
rectangle. Yeah.
It looks like it looks like a fucking Alexa is what it looks like.
It's
One
distinctly
of my
better
favorite
than their
flavors.
old ones.
You see the Xbox One design.
Rounded rectangles are bad, and all Xboxes are rounded rectangles. This one
I
at least
don't
has
mind
the
the
balls
Xbox
to have
One
an
design.
edge.
I like the
No.
Xbox One design.
Nah, well, I'm I'm not saying you're not allowed to. I don't think it looks good.
That's okay.
I'm saying you're not allowed to do whatever you wanted to say there.
I don't know.
Yeah, you
I
can say
like.
I'm not allowed to like it. It's okay. I've said a lot worse things to you.
I mean, you are allowed to like
I'm just
it.
taking
I
the
just think
opposite.
that you're wrong.
I'm just taking whatever Noah said, whenever Noah didn't say. That's the side I'm taking here.
Mm-hmm.
Because Noah's an enemy of the podcast, as everyone knows. So.
As we all know.
we all know.
Noah is out here canceling people, removing them from the podcast.
Oh. So in
Yeah.
other news
Mhm.
of sorts, Hades is finally out.
It's
like
so
the
good.
version 1.0.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
I wish they would have changed more for the version 1.0.
Okay, what do you
It's
mean?
almost exactly identical to everything else.
Well, yeah, that's.
I mean, it's still nice, but like I feel like almost every other update that's come out was bigger than the 1.0 update, which feels a little bit, I don't know, lackluster.
I think the 1.0 update, from what I've heard, is all final boss onward content, and I think that
Yeah, it is. It finishes the story.
which
But-
to me is the for me, right? So I can talk a little. I don't want to spoil anything about Hades. So the game, the way Hades works is like the core gameplay loop is that, and the reason it's a roguelike is every time you die, you get sent back into the
Yeah.
river of whatever the fuck. I can't remember what the hell it's
Souls.
called. No.
Yeah, but don't say what happens though, because
no,
I
no.
haven't beaten
But
past like the 1.0 yet.
but you've beaten it before the 1.0 update, right?
Yeah,
So-
about 70 times.
Yeah. So when you beat it before, the game kind of tongue-in-cheekly was like, and then he tripped on a rock and sends you right back to the start again because they didn't have like the
Yeah.
final stuff done.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of little like things that'll be like, and then something bad probably happens to Zacharias.
And then he
We'll
died.
leave that for you to discover.
Exactly. And then
There's like a trip on a rock. He found a weird bug that was poisonous. And it's
Yeah.
like,
It's actually
and even like
really
the
good.
not just says it like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I mean, the first time that happened, it made me really angry, and then every single time after that, it was the funniest fucking thing. But I desperately want to go through and do a couple runs of it so that I can get to the finale. I want to see the ending so bad. I want to see it so bad. I just haven't had the time to like put a couple of hours into gameplay to actually win it again, because I've only ever beaten the game completely on like one or two weapons. Because some of the weapons are stinky, and some of the enemies are the worst. And I don't know. That's
Some,
hot of a take.
I think all the weapons are really good though, if like you get to use them right.
Yes,
Because like sometimes, like if you get the right boons from, like any
Mm-hmm.
weapon can be really busted.
Well, and I think that with the way the game works for people who haven't played, aka Noah, is that there are 6 weapons. You start
Okay.
with 1, you get up to 6 weapons. You only get 1 weapon per run. Each has a primary attack, a secondary attack, and usually some kind of dash attack.
Mhm.
There are 2 types of upgrades. There are boons, which are gifts from the gods. They will give you things like, so if you get one from Zeus, it could be like, oh, now your primary attack gives little lightning bolts and zaps nearby enemies, like that kind of thing.
And those are the main upgrades you
Mhm.
get.
And then in every run, there are also two, and I don't remember whose hammer they are, but two hammers.
Daedalus.
Daedalus hammers, thank you. Two Daedalus hammers, and those will give you massive game-changing like upgrades to your weapon. Like one of them, for example, my personal favorite one is for the shield, which makes it so that your dash attack is like 3 times longer and charges up twice as fast. And it suddenly changes the entire way you're going to play that specific item. There are ones that change the sword to make it basically a vampiric. If it's a vampire, it becomes a vampiric weapon. So like you lose like 70% of your health, but every single time you deal damage, you restore a little bit of health. And that can be game changing.
Can be.
Can be. Well, it can be. It's all like what, because each time you get one of these boons, you only get a choice of 3, and there are like I think 11 per person, something like that. I think it's 11, 12, 13, something like that per god, and then 11 per weapon for the Daedalus hammer. And so it really does come down to, at a certain point, the luck of the draw on what you get access to from your Daedalus hammers, more than, and also from the gods, because you will only run into, I think, 4 of 7 gods in a given run. 5 of 7 gods.
I think there's like 10. Well, no, there's not like 10.
You only get a certain
like
number per run.
Yeah, you can only get a max number of them, but you can also influence what it does with your trinket, and there's other ways you can get things.
You can force it to do certain things if you really want a specific god's upgrade for one reason or another.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I find the Daedalus hammers are pretty good, but like they're just like unreliable, so I usually just ignore them or only get them if forced, because I like to just be able to watch Noah start playing Terraria on Steam.
Why would you?
You know what? Oh, hold on. This is a great transition. Noah, can we talk about how willing you are to sell yourself out for money?
Reasonably willing.
I'm sorry. What? Why is that? Why is that a good transition?
You'll see. He's gonna say
because it's about Terraria. So Noah and I started playing Terraria again this week. I do want to come back to Hades, but Noah and I started playing Terraria again this week, and we were like, you know what? Let's get some progress in. Let's do some stuff. And we go off. We get our little Skeletron win real quick, real easy. And then we're like, wow, we really don't want to go do the next major boss fight. We should upgrade our home.
Our home, to be fair, was a sack of shit.
It was garbage. It was a garbage home for garbage people. We were garbage people, so it was fitting. But we needed upgrades for our wonderful NPCs. And so I think Noah originally said, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do for the design. And Noah jokingly goes, oh, we're going to make a giant penis, haha. And I'm like, we shouldn't do that. And Noah goes, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't do that. Cut to less than 5 minutes later. And Noah goes, so I just got given $5 on stream with the caption, penis tower, in all caps. And so the next 3 hours of streaming content are Noah and I building a giant stone tower.
You say 3 hours, like, to hold. It wasn't that much more streaming content of just penis.
It was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's about right.
Of streaming content of building this gigantic penis tower.
It was,
and
that.
I am so angry. Not because we built a giant penis tower. That doesn't bother me, obviously. I would have jumped at that. I'm angry because the thing that got Noah to do it was somebody giving him $5. And
you shouldn't be surprised.
If I had known that,
firstly.
I would have started.
How much money does audibletrial.com/off the air give us?
What was that?
How much money does audibletrial.com/off the air give us? It makes you a bit of a loser.
Yeah, which I mean, Noah's already a loser because he is still playing Terraria on Steam.
Yeah, no. Are you playing games on Steam right now?
I don't see why I'm not allowed to.
Because recording a podcast.
Nobody
I am recording the podcast is the thing. I'm paying attention to the podcast.
Nobody tell them.
I would like to cancel Noah.
You do know I've been in game on Steam the entire time.
Yes, obviously.
Right? Okay,
I know
just making sure.
I try not to, because if I do, I start to zone real hard as far as podcast content goes, and I don't want to do that to our wonderful listeners. And then I feel bad.
I'm only doing it so I can finish this run of Hades by the end of the podcast and then talk about what happens.
That's fair.
It's a good goal.
Don't spoil the ending, because I haven't seen the full ending yet.
He's about to spoil the ending.
Currently fighting my dad.
I will be unironically angry. So yeah, Hades is real fun. I'm really happy it came out. Did I tell you guys I ended up picking up the Supergiant music collection? They're putting out later in the year Supergiant's the
Yeah,
developer.
you bought a record player for it and everything.
Yeah, I did. I bought a record player for it and everything. I couldn't remember if I talked about it on the podcast or not.
Only briefly, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it was last week.
It was not last week. 'Cause
It was definitively last week.
It was.
It
It may have
distinct-
been 2 weeks
It
ago,
was
but I
definitely
believe it was
2
last
weeks
week.
ago. There's no way I talked about it last week because this record player has been in my house for like a month and a half now. And last week I wanted to talk about, or 2 weeks ago I wanted to talk about Washington D.C. and I didn't get to do that either.
That was 3 weeks ago, Dan.
No time like the present.
See, that's my point. It was before all that, so it was definitely not within the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Wait.
I don't know if I can.
Anyway,
I don't know if I can get behind that take, but
your
okay.
Point,
My
but
point
no,
is,
it's like you're
my
wrong.
point
You're like,
is-
that's my point.
my point is,
My point was,
Hades is really good, and I'm excited to finally beat it when I get to it.
All right. I'm probably not going to play it because that's not a style of game I tend to enjoy as much. I don't know.
I mean, that's super valid.
Roguelikes don't usually resonate
go
with
drive
me.
a Kia Soul or something,
Say again?
Noah. It's like, go drive a Kia
I
Soul
know,
or
right?
something.
Type of loser. But yeah, I don't know. That's since they're usually a lot more like puzzle platformer focused is a lot of the mood.
There are no puzzles or platforms in Hades.
Yeah.
See, Hades I could probably get into at least a little bit, but like in general, because a lot of
I feel like-
roguelikes
The
are
other day,
like
someone
that.
told me it
That
was a
is not
Diablo
my,
ripoff, and that made me mad.
What roguelikes? So the only ones I can think of are the only one I can think of is fucking Super Meat Boy.
Spelunky's got a lot of platforming to it.
Okay.
I don't like platformers. I don't like puzzles. And games that aggressively try to kill you, like Isaac, not always a good time for me. So
I mean, that's valid. I mean, I fucking Hades definitely do be trying to kill you though.
yeah, but it's not the same, I'm assuming, as Isaac, where it's like, yeah, you can get hit 3 times and the enemies are super fast and they bounce everywhere and your weapon is not very accurate and simple to use.
What Isaac are you playing?
I'm playing the Isaac that
That's standard
Yeah.
Isaac.
Bitch Isaac is what he's playing.
whatever.
Well, most characters only start with like 3 hearts
Yeah.
max.
I mean, yeah, but
If you start-
you get your new heart by the end of generally, not always, by the end of the first floor.
I mean, yeah.
If you're a coward, don't take the deal with the devil.
I always took the deals with the devil. It was, in my opinion,
As
the
you
only
should.
way to play.
Yeah, of course.
As you should if you're good at the game.
Yeah,
And that
exactly.
is
if
the
you're bad at the
problem.
game,
And
don't
as
do
someone
it.
who's watched at least 1,000 hours of Northern Lion play the game, I'm qualified to tell you how to play.
Yeah. I don't watch Northern Lion, but Michelle does, and
You're
so
lost.
it's one of those situations
Or
where
win.
I know enough about his life and situation and gameplay just because fucking she listens to it all the time.
He's honestly like just divine. I've talked about it time and time again, but
You have, but I gotta
think
be
he's
honest,
pretty-
it only
I think he's
sells me
pretty
on it
swell.
more and more the more you like talk about him. I'm like, oh yeah, he seems like a cool enough guy.
He's a very cool guy. From everything
he's having a
I've
baby any day now.
yeah, good for him.
I guess his wife's having a baby.
No. I mean, from what he's distinctly, I think, said a couple of times.
He has takes on that one.
Yeah. He has
But
quite a
nice.
few takes, and he has a lot of fatherhood, like, hey, no, but like actually I'm doing my best here, you guys.
Do people think he's not doing the best here?
I have.
Everyone wants to criticize other people's parenting. That's all.
It's true. It's true.
The only parents you can criticize are your own and the ones you see in the street acting wild.
I don't know. That's
That's
a
it.
dangerous line to keep pushing back. You're not allowed to criticize Northern Lion, but you can criticize random people in the street. So what if I found Northern Lion in the street? Could I criticize him then?
If he's acting wild, you should criticize him.
You gotta ask him if he's Moby.
I mean, obviously, I would
don't
ask
get
that
that one.
first. I'd be like, "Excuse me, are you
Thank you.
Moby?" And he'd be like, "No, I'm not Moby." And I'd be like, "Oh, because you look a lot like Moby." And I just have to double down on the Moby take, and that's like my whole plan, basically.
Oh, I'm at the ending of Hades.
You did it. The end?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Congrats.
I don't know what happens though.
If only you could talk about it.
If only.
I'm walking real slow right now.
Nice.
Walk a lonely road.
So we talked about this in the server a few days ago, but I'd like to extend it to podcast discussion.
Okay.
Aliens in your sci-fi.
Yes.
I want to get some thoughts on that. How people feel about aliens in their sci-fi.
I mean, I have a lot of sci-fi thoughts in general. Specifically, aliens. Depends on the setting. Depends on how hard in the sci-fi, what the theme of the actual setting is, not just the theme of the story being told in it.
I think they're kind of like in my brain, like not par for the course, but like
Mm-hmm.
They are the norm.
not. Yeah, very much the norm.
And I would
I
agree.
mean, they're definitely the norm.
But I am wondering, like, so how do you guys feel about, like, if they were, like, removed from the equation more? Like, how do you guys feel about the sci-fi stories where it's like, only humans are out here, but it's such a wild variety of humans? Kind of like, maybe Firefly changed this after I stopped watching, but that was the vibe I got off of Firefly, you know? Where it's like, it's pretty much just humans out there, and then some of them are really weird and some of them aren't, you know, versus actual aliens. Because that, I don't know, that is something that I've always found like really fun and interesting, because, you know, aliens just get really boring sometimes.
I think it definitely depends on the setting. Dave and I actually talked about Star Trek the other day, and how Star Trek aliens, not for nothing, with maybe one exception, kind of boring.
Oh yeah, all Star Trek
part of that is-
aliens are just people in suits, and they didn't know how to play them otherwise.
Well, and part of that is the time. Like they literally didn't have the technology to do much more than people in suits, like at the time.
Oh yeah.
Jackson is. I want to put this on the record that Jackson is muted and deafened to watch the end of Hades.
You know what? Good for him.
I see him. I'm. You know what? I'm glad that he's experiencing it. I'm angry that I haven't gotten that far. Anyway, so here's where I land on aliens.
That explains why he hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah, there he is. Welcome back. There are so many ways to do aliens. So many.
Versus Predator.
And I think that
you can make them versus Predator.
That's true. That's true. You can make them like on their own too. At least twice. Anyway,
Twice.
I think that.
I'm sorry. Continue.
What?
You're like at least twice. It's such a painfully low number.
I know.
It's a joke.
It's funny. Funny joke.
Anyway.
So yeah. The aliens that I go to, right, as like, and I think someone actually in the discussion brought up the Mass Effect aliens. I think the Mass Effect aliens, generally speaking, unfortunately the ones on your ship are kind of meh, but at least generally speaking have at least like a culture behind them and aren't just defined by their one cultural trait, right? They have some things going on, and there are some really neat ones, like the fucking, whatever the one Cat brought up, I can't remember
the Elcor.
The Elcor, the ones that are trying to get words across, and that is not happening.
Yeah, the ones that have to state their emotion in the first place because their entire like conversation system is built around like hormones and stuff, or pheromones, I mean. So people just don't understand. Yeah, no, there's like a lot of fun takes on aliens out there, but then like so many aliens are just so freaking boring.
Well, the other alien that I would go to is like because like, so Mass Effect is a universe where alien life is common, right?
Yeah,
extremely common. The other universe that I can think of where that's kind of the inverse, where it's uncommon but still around, and we do not stand the author, but we do, at least I stand the hell out of the books, is Ender's Game. Orson Card is a garbage person who can burn in a fire, but his books are very.
They are somewhat reflective of his garbage personality.
Here, they definitely have some elements. I don't think that makes them bad books in the same way that just because J.K. Rowling is a trash fire garbage person does not make her books all garbage.
I would. Well, I don't want to get into that.
I think there's an entire the thing that kind of, because I literally until this past week was also on the man, I can never enjoy Harry Potter again, but there is now a entire like genre of authors who are terrible people who write entertaining books.
I don't think that defends the stuff is the thing, though.
I don't think it does. But I think there can be at a certain point, especially especially after they die, right? There can be a separation from author and content. While there's still a lot, like J.K. Rowling will never get a penny out of me for any reason ever, partially because she doesn't need it, and partially because she's a garbage trash fire person.
Well, I mean,
Orson Scott Card and like H.P. Lovecraft are dead as fuck, and like you can acknowledge
Orson Scott Card dead?
I'm like 99% sure.
I don't think he is.
Give me a number.
Oh no, he isn't. I for some reason 100% sure he died.
80?
I apologize.
60?
He's 69.
He's 69. Nice. I was not 100% sure he was dead. I apologize. Fine. Fuck Orson Scott Card. I'm still gonna talk about his aliens. The one major alien species in the first book is the buggers, and like the whole idea is that they are so alien that we can't comprehend what they're trying to do, and we can't even begin to understand their motivations and like reasons for doing things. and that's why we go to fucking war with them. And I think that's a really interesting and like honestly very realistic take on aliens. Because I feel like it's if humanity ever interacts with alien life, it's going to be something so beyond us that we physically aren't going to get it and are going to ruin everything because of it.
I don't know. Because I think if it's something that's so far beyond us, then
faith.
there's no ability for us to do anything except for accept it.
Or go to war with
the
it.
war that if it's so far
Which
beyond
is-
us, then they're clearly beyond the point of going through like pointless wars. So they would just not allow the war to happen, right? If you're like beyond us on like a galactic level, then you could just stop down.
No, I'm talking beyond us on a cultural scale, not on a technological scale.
Well, I mean, if they were going to like a cultural war,
Like
you
they don't-
could just make some form of like, I don't know, forced assimilation from the aliens' perspective.
I mean, okay, I feel like I'm getting my point across poorly. I mean, I don't mean beyond us as in ahead of us. I mean beyond us as in wildly.
But if they
different
get
from
here,
us.
they're way ahead of us.
Well, yes, of course, but in fucking in Ender's Game, the whole point is there's a whole lot of things. Yes, asterisk, other things, but yes. I don't know. I find the aliens in that series to be really interesting because they are distinctly played as aliens that are not us. They're just not, and they're not going to be, and they aren't trying to be, and we can't fix that. And we react out of fear, and our fearful reaction is, what if we shoot our rockets at them?
What if we make our children shoot our rockets at them?
I mean, I don't know if that would be
Well,
the case. I mean, right now, sure, but I think that there is a time when that would no longer be the case, and I think that time is very quickly approaching.
I would hope so. I really do. I'm not gonna pretend like I know so because I don't know so, but I hope so.
I believe it's inevitable. Either that or nothing at all happens, and we're just a husk. But I think the inevitability outweighs that in most circumstances, anyway.
I can get behind that.
But I don't know. I think that I like the idea of a sci-fi world without aliens at all, though. I think that's fun because I think there's a lot of excitement to the narrative of we went to the stars and there was nothing there. Because in reality, that's a lot of what it would just be. Like most of spacefaring travel would just be, hey, look, nothing. Ooh, look at that, nothing.
Still nothing.
Check that out. Ooh, nothing. Like, wow, this planet's made of diamonds. Okay, then what? What are you gonna do? Hang out there? Go to the beach? There's no beach, just diamonds.
Yeah, I find the idea of no alien life almost a cosmic horror kind of story, and I find it really fascinating.
But the cosmic horror isn't in creatures; it's instead in the lack thereof.
Exactly. And I think it's a really interesting way to.
It's fun.
I think it's a really interesting story to tell. Yeah.
It does sound like a good. I mean, are there any like? I mean, I'm sure there's got to be some, but are there any like major sci-fi properties that use a similar narrative structure?
Narrative structure to like
Nothing out here. That's sad.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think that's a super popular take at the very least. I feel like it's one of those things where it's something that requires a little more effort to get to come across smoothly, so people don't always go with it.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do a story about being alone, why would you spend the money to make it in space?
Pretty much.
We can be alone on Earth here pretty well, trust me. You guys like baked chips? Like
Yeah.
I think I like them better than regular chips.
Baked chips, like what kind of chips are baked chips?
Like
Like
the ones that say like
chips that
Lay's baked.
Yes, thank
those
you.
ones.
But like, what brands, dude?
I mean, like Lay's baked. It's like in
'Cause the only chips off the top of my head that would fit that description would be like Sun chips.
nah,
Sun
but
chips
they're
are
not
also
like
good.
they're not like what I'm looking at here. You know what I'm thinking about here, like a Pringles style, like where it's just like crisps.
You're talking Lay's.
Yes, I'm
baked.
talking Lay's baked.
Yeah. They're the
Yeah,
shit.
they're great.
amazing.
They're
I
so
love
much
them.
better than the regular chips.
Yeah, 100%. That's not even.
But
Literally not even
sometimes
a
they
question.
hurt
I
my
would
mouth.
eat baked chips over regular chips any day. Regular chips hurt my
Really?
mouth.
I feel
more
like
than, I am not a fan
sometimes the
of
baked ones are just like I'll get like a corner just right in the top of the mouth, and it's game over from there.
it. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Wait, no, are you not familiar?
No, not at all.
Really? Wow.
Oh, you're lost, dude.
No, yeah, that's why I'm saying like that's why I need like a little bit of context here. This is something that
I mean, yeah, they're just like if you're in the store and you're like where the chips are, they Lay's and in like big black letters on the bag, all caps, baked.
okay. Yeah, I've
No,
never
I mean-
heard of
Really?
these before outside of sun chips being like the whole like cooked by the sun or whatever shit that their like whole gimmick
Is
is.
I
that
thought they just were like
I don't know,
solar powered.
dude.
I don't think they cook them with the sun.
I thought
Well,
they
it
were just
sound-
healthier.
Well,
Yeah.
solar powered, cooked by the sun sounds like
I guess
two sides of
if
the
your
same
oven
coin to
is
me.
solar powered, you are cooked by the sun. But when you tell me that they're cooked by the sun, I imagine like you've got them out on like a big old like drying rack, just letting them.
Which would be cool as hell.
Same.
Firstly,
Maybe, but I don't think they can get cooked enough.
well, it depends on how many mirrors that they got working for
You know,
them.
you're right, I guess. And where they're at. If they're in Arizona with some mirrors, maybe they could cook those chips. I don't know. Then you wouldn't even need a solar powered
Never
oven.
know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really have anything to follow.
Weird.
that up with.
I thought everyone was familiar with baked chips.
Yeah, not me. It sounds really cool,
Yeah.
but it's nothing I've ever heard
They're
of.
really good.
I feel like
I haven't had them in a while. but
talking
they're-
about them now, I feel like I might have seen them in the store or vaguely heard people be like, "Oh yeah, baked chips." But like beyond that, I got nothing.
It is in all caps on the bag. Baked.
Huh.
They're like always. I remember like the big selling point is they're always like less fat than regular chips, but they're just better tasting. So you don't need to tell me there's. I don't care if there's less fat. They just taste better.
I don't know. I'd be willing to try those. I'm heading to the store after we
we
record so
go.
I can buy like dinner stuff. So maybe I'll think about picking up some baked
Yeah.
chips.
If you see any baked
Give
chips,
'em a try.
some baked
Definitely
chips.
should. They're really good.
Man, I can't believe you've never heard of those. I remember when they first kind of came
Yeah,
out.
that
They
actually
first came
blows my
out
mind.
like a little while ago. I mean, it's been like probably at least 10 years, maybe less. But like, sorry, I remember when Lay's Baked was like hitting the shelves, and everyone was like, "Wow, check this out."
Lay's baked chips.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've never seen this
Really?
before. Never.
That's so weird to me.
They look different.
First, you didn't
They
know
look
what
dry.
Spelunky was, and now you don't know what Lay's Baked are. No, you know nothing.
I feel like I'm feeling really like weird right now. You know, like those times when you just have this weird knowledge gap that everyone else seems to have.
Is it weird if I say that Spelunky and baked chips came out around the same time in my brain?
Yes, that is weird.
I'm Googling it. Because I feel like maybe Noah just wasn't there for like a week or something, and both of these things happened.
Lay's Bake came out in 94.
Okay, well maybe they just rebranded them. while I
No,
was,
I'm
like,
so no,
younger.
I'm sorry. No, that's Wavy Lays. Okay, so let's see.
I just googled
See.
Lay's Baked origin story.
I'm just looking through the Lay's Wikipedia. I'm gonna see if I can find any sort of information here.
I'm going to Lay's.
I'm just seeing flavors. I guess this is technically a flavor controversy.
Controversy. Oh
What?
no! Oh no! I know.
Oh, it's
I know
just
the
a
one.
copyright infringement.
I know the one. Yeah. Well, when Pepsi sued those guys for accidentally making the wrong potato.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I can't
yeah.
believe-
that was some shit.
How capitalist do you have to be to sue people for making your trademarked potato?
Very.
Yes.
Because like
Any.
what? I don't know.
Wow.
That's dumb.
All these
But what-
cricketers from India have endorsed Lay's. Thank God. Yo, in Indonesia, they're distributed by Indofood.
Does Lay's still make baked chips? Yes. When did they come out? There we go. No, holy shit! It's not telling me anything. It's just telling me about Wavy Lays.
Guys,
It won't
in
tell
South
me anything
Africa,
about baked.
they're distributed by Simba Chip. That's cute.
Lays are?
Yeah, Simba Chip.
Huh.
They just named a chip after lion, not like the lion Simba, but like the word lion in Swahili.
Yeah.
Swahili, which is what I speak.
Swag Healy.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's from my.
I don't really know what to
it's from a
lead
Kanye
off of
song.
That with.
You be ballin' in the D leagues. I be speaking Swahili. Speaking of Swahili, though, it's a pretty widely spoken language. It's the official language of several countries. Did you know
It is.
that Africa has a Great Lakes system?
I did not.
No shade, but they're not as good as North America's Great Lakes. But
Well, of course.
like, all I'm saying is, they call one of them the Great Lakes and one of them the African Great Lakes. That's all. That's all I'm saying. One of these lake structures is.
I'm just saying,
bigger.
dude, the African Great Lakes only have a 3.7 star rating on Google.
I'm
so
sorry. You can just see all of them.
what
You can see all.
what are the
Say hi.
negative reviews? Let's see. Oh my gosh. This one star. You need it for homework. 1 star. I could find what I was looking for. Sadness of lakes. No, these are translated. Sadness of lakes that have been large and have diminished greatly in their capacity.
Oh,
What is the name of the question mark?
I'm sorry, who's leaving
So I'm
bad?
assuming-
yeah, who goes on Google is like, I'm gonna leave a bad review for the Great Lakes in Africa.
This one person just said, I hate this.
Wow.
They're from Korea.
And they hate the African Great
Yeah,
Lakes.
they hate the African Great Lakes.
Wow, that's
This other person is just like, I did not like anything. The information about these filthy lakes
Wow.
is very bad.
There's a lot of hate for the poor old African Great Lakes.
I like this 3-star review, which is just African Lake.
Okay, well, that seems like they really kind of were looking at it from like a very neutral perspective.
Here's a 2-star. I am not really interested in the truth. If someone's not interested in the truth, there's not much you can tell them about it then.
But yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty big. They do have the most water by lake structure group. Like they have more water in them than the North American Great Lakes. But they're not as big. So like
that does make sense. They are much larger, like landmass wise.
Yeah, our Great Lakes, as in like the one like in my backyard, literally is like way bigger. But Lake Erie is only like not is at its deepest not even like 300 feet deep. Like they are not very deep. I mean the Lake Superior is very deep, and some other lakes have some very deep points in them. But yeah, the African Great Lakes just have a lot more volume in them.
Interesting. Huh. I did not know that there were more than. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense that there's more than one set of Great Lakes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a shame that like due to their taking up land mass, the Great Lakes in North America just kind of like won the getting called the Great Lakes contest.
They are pretty great.
They are significantly larger. In
Lake Erie is great at the very least.
Erie's okay.
Which Great Lake do you prefer? What's your?
It's a lot greater now than it was.
What's your favorite Great Lake?
Because I remember, none. They're all kind of blend together for me.
Kind of a hater for that one.
Yeah, man.
It's got anything like Lake Victoria.
Lake Erie, I remember when I was growing up, used to be real grody. I remember being real gross all the time.
It was kind of cool though. The neat thing about like some of the African Great Lakes is like the North American Great Lakes. They all are, with the exception of Lake Michigan, bordered by two countries. So like you get Canada on one side, America on the other. Whereas some of the African Great Lakes, like they stretch along 3 or 4 countries. I mean, Lake Victoria, there's a big section of it in Uganda, a big section in Kenya, and a big section in Tanzania. So like these 3 countries, you could just be like, boating around and see someone who's like, "Hey, I'm from Uganda." You're like, "What? It's crazy." And then the other guy's like, "I'm from Kenya." And you're like, "What? That's crazy."
You guys ever think about how ridiculously fucking stupidly large the United States is?
Frequently.
Wait till this guy finds out about Russia.
I mean, yes, but I don't know. Because I don't remember who I was talking to the other day, but I was talking about all the cluster of European countries and stuff. And then there's the United States, and the United States just real big, just real fucking big for no goddamn reason.
What do you mean for no reason?
I mean, for a lot of reasons, but
like
comparatively, it's just
and
weird.
there are several countries far bigger than the United States. Russia's twice as big.
But not many.
Twice as big.
Let's do some googling because
that's so much bigger. 2 times the size.
There are only 3 countries that are larger than the United States.
I mean,
fucking Russia, Canada, and
China.
They're
all pretty big players, though.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But Canada's like half frozen wastes.
I think that's
Russia's
generous. I think you need to bump
Russia.
That
I actually don't. I don't know what percent of Russia is frozen waste. In my mind, a lot of it, but also that's hard to tell because some of that is just Russia. Like Russia just is cold. Like that's just cold. So I have no idea how much of Russia. Let's see. How much of Russia is usable land? Let's see.
I like how just the part of Russia that's in Europe is the largest European country, and the part of Russia that's in Asia is the largest Asian country. If you were to split the country up. Why is it so big?
Yep. It's too big.
Too big.
But it's really funny because as you guys started talking about the size of Russia, I was just scrolling down my Facebook feed and someone literally shared a picture of the world with all the countries marked out on it. And I'm like, oh man, look at Russia. That's big. While you're like, it's twice.
It's
as
so big. Like it's
You know what? Of the top 4, the United States has like by like 6% the most arable land. Russia only has 7.5% arable land. Canada only has 4.8% arable.
What does that
land.
mean?
Arable is like can grow crops and shit. It's farmable.
Okay.
Not livable necessarily, but like actively could be used for.
so
growing
we have
shit.
more arable land than China does,
By
but not by
percentage,
volume.
yes.
Or by volume
let's-
too.
Actually, it probably is by volume.
I was gonna say we're
probably by
similar
volume, yeah.
sizes to China, so I wouldn't be surprised if we
Mhm.
managed to beat them out in both regards.
China's bigger, but they
and we
do
are
produce
6%.
more agricultural goods than we do.
Stuff. I think that they just use their shit better. Like that's the simple answer. Like I think China does a lot better job actually using the resources that they have for the bad reasons and the good ones. Like they've made some choices to get to that point. Let's see. Arable land is any land capable of being plowed and used to grow crops.
Plowed.
Plowed. India has the largest percentage of
Good for
arable
them.
land. It's India, the US, then Russia,
What about Colombia?
according to just by raw land area, not by not by percentage, just raw
What about
amount.
Colombia?
Colombia
from
isn't even on the
Colombia.
list. It's India, US, Russia, EU, China, Brazil, Australia, Canada, Argentina,
Colombia.
Nigeria, and Ukraine.
I just like saying Colombia, honestly. It's
That's
a fun cool country. I mean, there's really not many not cool countries, if I'm being honest.
There are some countries that are distinctly less cool.
Oh,
though.
absolutely. But just like as a general, I
But
give them
there
all a
are-
thumbs up.
Yeah, you know what? I can back that. With a handful of exceptions, I would say most countries are pretty
Yeah,
cool.
looking at you,
Even if
Denmark.
yeah, you know what? Fuck Denmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denmark, known enemy of the podcast, the entire country of Denmark.
That's it, Denmark. We see you out here. What's our favorite country?
I think we talked about this before.
No, like as a podcast, not individually.
As a
as a
podcast.
podcast?
I'm still
okay.
partial to Tanzania.
Tanzania has a fun name. I'll give
It's
you
a
that.
fun name, fun flag. We could go Ireland.
I would be okay with Ireland.
Well, what are we just going by flag? Or are we doing more than that though?
Well,
Because
we don't
What
wanna
is
do much
just our
more than that.
favorite country. Because
so I want to take in
my
cuisine
instinct-
too, though.
Okay.
If I'm gonna,
I was gonna say my
I
instinct
don't
is
want to be
Italy.
mean
Italy.
to Ireland, but I want more food than Ireland has to offer.
Wow, you're gonna eat all the food in Ireland and then some?
Irish
Yeah,
famine
dude.
too.
What? No, you're a monster. I would eat all of.
I mean, if you're going with that, no, I think we're both gonna land on Italy.
I mean, I would
I'm
land on
assuming.
Italy or Germany,
Germany,
but that's
German food
only
is
because those are the.
mostly just sausage and beer.
Well,
which don't get me wrong, is all you need.
I
in
don't know
life.
why you're so picky about your sausage and beer, Daniel.
pick
I'm here for it.
Vietnam.
I will pay you $5 to pick. Oh, see,
Viet-
that's the thing.
I don't know enough Vietnamese food. I don't think.
Well, I mean, you got pho.
Mhm.
You got banh mi. You got Vietnamese style coffee.
I genuinely don't know that I've ever had any
Really?
of those three. I don't think I've ever had pho. No, I literally have passed a couple of places that make it, like a couple of pho places. I don't think I've ever actually
good.
had it.
hmm
I mean, I am.
I think I
100%
really like a banh mi.
Can we talk about cultural national? There we go. National food. I feel like as much as I eat food, and I eat a lot of food, I feel like there are so many countries that I literally don't know what food is like common. Like there's got to be. I'm gonna Google it. Foods by country.
They're called national dishes. Most countries do have one, but
there's got to be a book or something, like a book. Like there's literally, I'm sure there are hundreds of books that are just
you can see like
out there that would let me find them.
Yeah, there's
okay. So honestly,
has a
I'm calling
page
them
for
out. I'm calling out Algeria right here, right now. Couscous is their national dish. You can't. That's so vague. You're giving yourself. Like, come on. You know how much you can do with couscous?
Yeah, but like,
You can't
if
just
that-
make the
if that's
grain your national
food-
dish. You gotta be more specific than that. Algeria, unaccepted. B-. I'm
Unaccepted,
glad you're here,
canceled.
and I'm glad you're having a good time, but it's a B-. Too vague. You're giving yourself too much credit.
I kind of really want to like just start making. So the thing I've run into, and I've been meaning to actually make another trip out to H Mart to remedy this,
Mhm.
is that there are certain foods from certain countries, and by no means all, and by no means most, whatever. It's a lot of it just I don't know what needs to be in it. That it's hard as just somebody who lives in America to find all the things you would normally get for it, or to find the things that you would get for it in a small enough quantity to only make it once. If that makes
Roast
sense.
lamb.
Like, I don't
Australia's
want
got
to go
roast
out
lamb and
buy-
meat pies. Good for them.
Meat pies.
Wiener
are
Schnitzel
amazing.
from
Like,
Austria.
I don't want to buy a specific spice, like an entire container of it for like, however much, and only ever use it once and just have it taking up room in my cupboard for the next like year and a half until I replace it.
That's
think
me
I
with
give-
my miso paste right now.
So
I will find more
Bosnia-
uses for it, but
the official dish
as
of
right now.
Bosnia is Bosnian pot. I don't know. Where do you guys grade that? I mean, it's nice that you're
That's a
making it
great
very
meal.
national. Like your country's name's in the dish. No one's getting it mixed up. But also, that's all? Just Bosnian pot? You couldn't have come up with like something a little bit more fancy?
So
Like,
I
you
mean,
couldn't
like
come up
the
with a
first thing
fancier
I
name for
thought
that one?
was Bosnian weed, is what I thought you were talking
No
about.
way.
Mhm.
It's a stew. But still, like, you couldn't have come up with like a little bit of more, like a little bit of a different name, Bosnia. I respect it, and I give him a
Man,
good grade. Nobody.
Speaking of stew, it's just been cold where I am right
It-
now. Like it's distinctly dropped the temperature, and I so desperately want to go out and get ramen before the temperature rises back up, and I like no longer am in the like right temperature range to get really good high end ramen. But
You gotta be
It's so
cold to
cold.
buy ramen?
Michelle does. Michelle
Okay.
associates ramen with being cold, and I hate it. But here I am.
French fries are the official dish of Belgium, so
Oh,
there's no
I'm
rules
going to
here.
Belgium.
No, that's. I'm
Oh
pretty
my-
sure that's actually valid.
Canada's getting canceled. Poutine, obviously,
Canada?
a classic Canada. Second one is literally Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's Canada. You could
Yeah,
pick
dude,
anything and you
isn't
pick
that
Kraft
literally-
macaroni, Kraft dinner.
Isn't that where it literally comes from?
What? No, didn't Thomas Jefferson invent mac and cheese?
When he put the feather in his
Oh,
hat,
probably.
yeah.
I wish I was kidding, but isn't he credited with like the modern invention of macaroni and cheese?
Kraft.
Not Kraft.
Although Kraft did not invent processed cheese, he won a patent for one processing method in 1916 and began to build his cheese business.
Chile's got the empanadas,
So-
and I just straight up saw Emma Panda, and I was like, what? I was like,
Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on.
Don't
Actually,
go to
this
Chile.
This is now a Kraft mac and cheese history lesson. During the Great Depression, a St. Louis, Missouri salesman, Grant Leslie of Dundee, Scotland, had the idea to sell macaroni pasta and cheese together as a package, and so he began attaching grated cheese to boxes of pasta with a rubber band. In 1937, Kraft introduced the product in the actual Kraft mac and cheese in the U.S. and Canada, and it worked great because of World War II, because of the rationing of milk and dairy products and a increased reliance on meatless meals.
nice. One thing I gotta
That is
say, looking at
so fascinating.
China, they got Peking duck, a classic.
Mhm.
Luosafen, just a type of soup. Most countries have at least one soup or
Mhm.
similar dish on their list, and also crayfish.
Mhm.
I really would love to have like. Have you seen like rural China at all? Like on any rural China like TikTok videos?
Yeah, I've seen- yeah.
They're amazing. I really want a crawfish boil with a whole bunch of like rural people from China and a whole bunch of like really like Cajun people from New Orleans. Just
You know
eating
what?
crawfish and like a
I'm
big old
110%
like
here for
party,
that.
whole bunch of like yeah, it sounds like so much fun.
Also, can we scrolling down this list? It kind of makes me a little angry. I mean, I understand it. I understand why. There's a lot of reasons why, but that like two of the biggest like lists on this are the UK and the United States. And the US is like, we got apple pie, we got hamburgers, we got hot dogs, we got turkey, we got mashed potatoes and gravy, and then underneath that it has see list of US state foods. And I'm like, guys, I understand that a lot of that is a very air quotes American dish, but like, you can't have 5 national dishes.
I agree.
Get out of here.
Japan's got
Pick like 2. It's fine.
Japan's got like 5 also, but like they're also
So does
all
the
very
Philippines,
like
weirdly.
like sushi, Japanese curry, ramen, tempura, and wagashi. Like, I mean,
Interesting. India, due to its diverse culture, India does not have a national dish.
So Indian cuisine, I don't know if you're familiar with it as a whole, but like
Vaguely.
because of the way India works, I have a friend who's like went to culinary school and he's like obsessed with like Indian food. Because there isn't really such a thing. Because like what you see if I were to go to like an Indian restaurant here,
An
it's
Indian
all
restaurant,
going
yeah.
to be like I believe Northwestern Indian food. that is seen in like large cities in northwestern India. Whereas if you go outside of that part of the country, almost every city and every like county has an entirely different like cuisine and cultural providing like surrounding the cuisine. And that's super like one of the really cool things about India is if you go like to a city a day over like a week, you can experience 7 worlds different like flavor profiles and food profiles. And
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so it's like it's a pretty big thing. And I mean cool. I think I mean obviously if you put 2 and 2 together just from what we talked about on today's podcast from India is like also we should wrap up soon. It's been a while. But
yeah, it's been a while.
So that's okay. I'm bringing it full circle here for the finisher. If you look at what we've looked at today, exclusively, you've got that India has the most arable land by percentage out of any country in the world, and also some of the most varied cuisine, which makes sense because if you live in an area where you can grow in a lot of the country, you can grow different food throughout the country. So each city is welcome to make their own dishes instead of having to import corn from Iowa because Iowa grows all the corn. Instead, you can be like, yeah, we grew some basil because I don't know. Thought it might be cool. And then like 100 years later, your entire city's like, we only eat basil.
Basically, yeah. Okay, that tracks. I like this read. This is really fascinating to me. Guys, can we should talk food more often. Next time we get together, we should do a fucking... Which
might be like next week.
Food episode. That's true. That's
true.
Well,
I already got some food plans for that. It'll be fun. And we'll talk about that on the podcast when the time is right.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan to me.
All right, so that's enough for today. We recorded a while.
We have. So yeah. I don't know. You can find me as Bubbadabad, BUBBADABAD. I am on Twitch, Twitter, Insta, and I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm cutting Saturdays for the time being.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, I'm getting married in like less than a month. I'm getting married in like 2 weeks.
That's fucking stupid. Okay.
Yeah, right?
Weird of you to prioritize your marriage over your Twitch community, but whatever.
I'm just saying I'm very selfish. So
yeah, obviously. All right. Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/bornrule and twitter.com @bornrule57. I stream Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday now, at least for the time being. While I finish out Tuesdays are finishing out our GTA heists. Thursdays, we're back to Terraria with Noah, and Saturday nights, late in the evening, we're doing Total War Warhammer, which I got my butt handed to the point where Cap and I stopped doing the stream the campaign that we were doing, to the point where I fucking lost, and I was sad, and then we played some Constellation Payday. It was bad.
I'm sorry for you. That's
I am too. It was like a 3-month campaign, and we had to quit it because I literally had nothing left. That was it. It was gone.
There is this one dude on YouTube who does this thing where people will like send him like a save state from their unwinnable Warhammer campaign, and he does everything in his power to win the campaign from there.
That's pretty cool.
So he does like a little series where like people send him like basically like, hey, I'm terrible at this game and I made a complete nightmare situation. And he's like, wow, this is abysmal. And he still usually finds some way to like actually win it from there.
Nice.
It's pretty impressive.
I actually really like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Really cool.
It's a good bit. I can get behind it.
Indeed.
It's a great way to roast your fan base and also still have amazing content.
I mean, if your fan base is the one like participating in it, is it really a roasting?
You can participate in a roasting.
I suppose so. Anyway, you can find us at Patreon at Off the Air, Facebook at OTA Podcast, and Twitter at The Off the Air. Oh, you know what? Let me check Apple Podcasts, see if anyone followed up on that weird 1-star. No, nothing. Oh, wait, no, we got a new review. Oh, shit. From Happy Gobi. I'm assuming that's how you say it. Gobi.
1 star. I hate this.
Yes. No. Hilarious and relatable. These guys are good. I love hearing about all their lifetime shenanigans. The positivity and cheerful sarcasm is a welcome friend while I'm on long drives or just between coming in or home from work. I have a similar homeschooling background as a couple of them guys, so hearing that makes me feel like I can connect with them better than other podcasters out there. Definitely worth your time. Give them a listen. You won't regret a single second of it. Firstly,
aww,
I do take that as
so kind.
That is incredibly personal offense.
That is obnoxiously nice. Secondly, I appreciate the lie at the end where you said you won't regret a single second because
No,
I've regretted a single
recording it.
Guys,
Yeah.
how long did we talk
I
today
regret
about?
most seconds, actually.
I mean, how deep, how close would we come to digging ourselves into a hole there talking about like national identities today, right?
yeah, it was like we
No,
teetered
honestly,
at the
I feel like we
well,
were
no, we
safe.
teetered at the edge, kind of like of a dangerous hole where we're like, yeah, no, let's talk about whose food is better.
That's fair. Okay.
But
Hey, I just graded people based on the names of their food.
let's see.
I mean, I agree 100%. I will only judge people on the quality of their food from here on out.
And starting, like, we're gonna get a whole bunch of reviews being like, I cannot believe that Jackson disrespected the name behind Bosnian pot. Everyone knows it's named after Bosnian hero. And I'm like, oh, God. I just said it seemed kind of uninspired, but looked good.
All right, so let's see. I was super dumb. We will not be getting these Patreon shout outs in time to fit into September because I never DM'd anybody. So
Oh,
No, don't you know you're responsible for doing all the heavy lifting in the podcast?
I know.
yeah, seriously, you do all the administration and we sit back and watch you
I
work.
know,
Yeah,
right?
did you get those bonus content done yet?
I did.
So-
it's up
Okay,
right
okay.
now.
It's true. So I'm gonna take a guess for Emma. Emma's probably going to tell you to go check out Casual Obsession, the horror movie podcast that she started with me, Nina, and Jeff.
Kind of plugging yourself there, too.
Yeah, but I'm also gonna
Nice.
guess that's what Emma wanted to
I'm
say.
gonna guess that she wants me to say.
Hi,
I don't know.
let's see. What would Hi want? Hi would like to remind everyone that for a mere $5, I sold my soul and turned my home into a gigantic penis in Terraria.
I did that in real life.
So that happened on Thursday.
Can you do
even.
that for $5 in real life?
Would I do that?
Go on,
For
continue.
5 in real life? No, I would
No,
not.
continue.
Let's see.
Continue. That's because you're a coward. Go on.
Sam, I mean, as the enemy of the podcast, Sam does not get to say anything because she is, as we all know, our mortal enemy. Yes, yes.
And canceled.
Yes.
So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
go move to
Which
the
reminds
Netherlands.
me, we do have to have a
Or Denmark.
showdown with her before the end of the
We
season.
definitely
It was
have to.
Denmark that we.
Honestly, a
Yeah.
mid-season showdown where she becomes our friend and helps us defeat the bigger boss is probably what we need.
That's
Yeah,
not
I
bad.
like
don't
an
hate
episode where Sam becomes a friend of the podcast, and then we together beat up Suzuki Joe.
That's probably the arc.
that. Known super enemy. Is Suzuki Joe? Is Suzuki Joe the Ozai in this metaphor? Is that what we're getting at?
Is he Ozai?
The
Because he
who?
just had a massive heel turn is the problem. Like, he was a hero
what?
and then he burned us.
I want to reference Korra, but I know you haven't watched it.
Yep.
That's fine. Go on. Who
And
else?
finally
Who else
we have
would ever give us
Cloud.
a shout out?
Cloud usually never has me say anything, so I'm just going to once again plug the wiki that Cloud took all that time to set up.
Cloud occasionally asks me if there's anything I want to add to the wiki, and I always forget to respond, and I feel so bad
Dude,
about
me
it.
too. She asked me what my favorite bit was, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember
And
a
I'm like,
single
I don't know,
thing.
dude. I mean, I know my favorite bit, but I'm not allowed to say it anymore.
Yep.
It's because Noah said it one too many times.
It's like no one's not allowed to say it.
My personal favorite bit is whenever Jackson and I do an episode without Dan, and we just don't acknowledge Dan isn't there. But then whenever I do an
See, I always thought
episode
that was
without
just negligence.
Well, but then whenever I do an episode with Dan and not Jackson, the first thing out of Dan's mouth is, "Hey, welcome back to Off the Air. We don't have Jackson with us today because he's a nerd." I'm just kidding. He probably
presence
works or
demands to
something,
be
and
acknowledged.
that's like the whole thing.
That is literally, I think, what I've said every time, or something very, very close to it.
I want that on a shirt now. Just me saying my presence demands to be acknowledged.
Well, I don't know. That's the end of the episode.
do it
right?
in the do it in a fake Supreme font,
Mm.
like red block, white text, white T-shirt.
Someone who's good at design, get on that. Find us the Supreme
Better idea.
font.
I'm just gonna make the shirt, instead of being a red block with white text, I'm just gonna make the shirt the flag of Poland, and it's just gonna say that on it with no explanation as to why it's the
I
flag of
love
Poland.
that idea.
Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, no, I love that. I'm on board.
Like, hey, why is that a Polish flag? Pfft, whatever. Or I could do the Indonesian flag, which is just the Polish flag upside down.
There you go. Why is your
Or is
Polish
the
flag upside
the
down?
Indonesian flag upside
You
down.
fool. I don't know. I think that's all that we have to say, though, right?
Yep, we're done.
All right,
Bye.
bye.